Before I answer, I want to show you something very interesting. Take a look at this. You must be asking yourself, what is so special about this video? This video was produced following a conference we did 5 months before the 7th of October. We foresaw the war and tried to warn beforehand years.
אנחנו במערכה, אנחנו עכשיו במצב חירום, אנחנו במערכה. זה עניין של שיקול דעת, מתי הם יפעלו מולנו. זה לא עניין של הרתעה, הם לא מורתעים. ואותו הדבר בעזה, ואותו הדבר בעיראק, ואותו הדבר בתימן, ואותו הדבר באיראן, כן, כל זה עומד מולנו. ואני אומר לכם, בעת הזאת, אנחנו נמצאים במצב שתוך שנה, שנתיים יש שתי אפשרויות. או ששת הימים, או יום כיפור. אחינו היהודים מתמודדים עם היקף אנטישמיות ודה-לגיטימציה שלא נראו כמותם. הכנסת צה"ל לוויכוח פוליטי מסכנת אותנו קיומית.
But we also have the solutions for the years to come. This is exactly why IDSF was established as a movement.
IDSF was established for one purpose only: ensuring the security of the people of Israel and the state of Israel. How do we do this? It's very simple. Returning to the concept of national security in the spirit of Zionism. We, the members of IDSF, not only believe that Zionism is not over, it hasn't even started.
Please welcome to the stage Brigadier General Reserved Amir Avivi, founder and chairman of Israel's Defense and Security Forum, to receive as an award and to be interviewed by Anna Aronheim.
Hello, Amir. I didn't mention, this award is to Amir Avivi, who is also part of our special magazine coming out on Erev Rosh Hashanah, just next week, as an influential Jew, and he definitely is. And our influential Annie will take it from here.
Hi, thank you for being with us.
My pleasure.
I want to talk to you first about the Valor Fund, which was established as an alternative to foreign foundations. Why do you view Zionist education not merely as a value-based issue, but as a matter of national security on the highest order?
So as you know, we in IDSF, we deal with Israel's national security. And our view is that national security is first and foremost about national values. It's about our deeper connection to Zionism, to Judaism, the love of the people, the love of the land. Without spirit, there is no tank and no airplane that can help. It's all about spirit. You know, we heard today about the amazing technologies that Israel has, IAI that presented here today. And yes, technologies are important. But it's all about resolution. It's about spirit. We are experiencing a fight. Who is more resolute? Of will. It's a fight of will. And we will win the war not because of our technologies. Yes, they help. It's about the will, the willingness to really strive and win for generations to come.
If you will it, there is a way. Your new research institute, the David Institute for Security Policy, joins an already crowded field of think tanks. What gap did you identify where other institutions don't focus on? And what unique perspective of knowledge are you bringing to board?
So we are a country, we are a people that have been expelled from the land 4 times. The Assyrians, the Babylonians, Romans, Muslims, 2,000 years in the diaspora, persecuted, pogroms, Holocaust. By miracle we managed to build again our state, and again we are challenged with wars and operations. And there is one question that needs to be asked that hasn't been asked for a long time. What is needed to secure Israel for generations to come? There wasn't any think tank focusing about that. Really researching and understanding what is needed for us to be secure. This is what David Institute does. It focuses on the security and prosperity of Israel for generations to come.
And when we're talking about Israel for generations to come, there's also the diaspora, and we can't ignore that. And so you're planning preparatory programs for Jews who live abroad in the diaspora. How do you see your role not only in shaping policy here in Israel, but also abroad, and shaping the identity of Jewish Zionists abroad?
So, for thousands of years, we have been the heroes of the biggest story of all. The whole world embraced the Bible, embraced our story. And in the last maybe 50, 60 years, we have seen really an attempt to take the heroes of the story and make them the villains in their own story. And unfortunately, many Jews bought that. You have millions of Jews who, instead of feeling proud of, being the part of the biggest story of all, being the heroes of the story, they started feeling like villains. And if we don't address this issue, if we don't change this state of mind, it doesn't really matter what kind of hasbara we do. Because if the basic issue is that you are the villain, what does it matter what you say? If you show high-tech, wineries, women on the beach of Tel Aviv, it doesn't matter if the basic issue is that you are a villain, and we are not. We are the heroes of the story. And this is something we really need to educate. And our message to the diaspora and to the Jews all over the world is very, very simple. You don't need to give up your identity to solve problems. Yes, we have challenges. We have many challenges here in Israel we have to address, and also in the diaspora. But you don't mix values with problem solving. Our values are holistic. Judaism and Zionism are a holistic story of a people, of indigenous people, who prayed for 2,000 years to go back to their land. We were expelled from our land. And now we came back to build again our sovereignty and create the state of Israel. And this time, it's forever.
And we're talking about forever. Let's also talk about the day after the war. And you've emphasized that defeating Hamas is essential to get there, to ending the war, and also for regional stability. So what is a true victory for Israel? And how can you have the country avoid slipping back into just another cycle of endless conflicts in Gaza?
Israel set very, very clear goals for the war in Gaza. Eradicating Hamas as a governmental and military entity, bringing back all our hostages, and creating the terms that never, ever again there will be a terror army in the Gaza Strip. And by the way, this goal is the long-term goal that people don't talk about. People talk about eradicating Hamas. People, of course, talk about bringing back the hostages. But the long-term issue is making sure that never, ever again there will be a terror army in the Gaza Strip. This means that Israel will have overriding security responsibility forever in the Gaza Strip. This means we'll be in Rafah, on Philadelphia. We'll have full freedom of operation everywhere. And this means we need to demilitarize the Gaza Strip and create a completely different kind of governance. Now, the government says from day one, the day after Hamas, there will be no Hamas, no Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and also not the Palestinian Authority. This same Palestinian Authority that took Gaza literally from the Stone Age in 1993 to shooting rockets on Israel in 2001. The Palestinian Authority, not Hamas. So we need a new idea. We need a new solution, and I think this is moving towards the idea of cantonization, of self-governance, of local clans. We see already a clan managing Rafah. We see a clan working in Sajaiya. We see a clan that is starting to take over the area of Khan Yunis. And we see the clans in Judea and Samaria, in Hebron, for example, saying, we don't want to be part anymore of this terrible entity, the Palestinian Authority. We want to be an emirate, a city-state. We want to join the Abraham Accords. So I think we have been stuck for a long, long time with the idea of a two-state solution, which basically pushes towards the complete physical and the spiritual destruction of the state of Israel. Anybody who thinks that Israel can exist on the shore with the width of 9 miles, I think this is not a serious way of looking, at the reality. If you take the map of Israel, from the sea to the Jordan Valley, as they like to say in other places, from the river to the sea, okay? It's 45 miles. It's not even Paris. It's 45 minutes drive. The whole land of Israel. If I take the map, just geographically, the map, without the name Israel, and bring it to any officer's school anywhere in the world, show them the map and say, defend this. Everyone, every single officer on the globe will say, if you don't sit on the mountains, and if you don't have the Jordan Valley, you don't exist. There is no way to defend the land if you are not on the high ground. And what are people saying to us? No, give up the Jordan Valley, give up the mountains and be on a 9-mile shore and call it a viable state. No, it's not a viable state. And what can we do? We want to exist. This time forever. We have been expelled 4 times of our land. And we're not going to exist without sovereignty in Judea and Samaria and the Jordan Valley. But the message is, and in my book, No Retreat, I wrote 4 different solutions to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. None of them include endangering Israel existentially the way the two-state does. So there are solutions. But first we need to figure out the big question of all, the one we're researching. What is needed to secure Israel for generations to come? And the answer is, we need a Jordan Valley, we need to be on the mountains, and yes, there can be self-governance for Palestinians that is completely according to international law. We can figure this out, we have solutions, and we need to push a new vision.
And my last question, we were just now talking about the future, but let's go back a few years to 2022 when you warned back then already of a war and published a book about it. So how do you explain the gap between those warnings and the system's lack of preparedness?
So the book was published, it was based on our security assessment, and it was published 6 months before the war, describing the whole war that is coming and also what will happen after the war. And I explain in the book why they're not listening. Why the government and the military and so on are not listening. And the reason was that we embraced the strategy that has been built by the US against the USSR, the strategy of containment. In Israel, when Israelis, you say to them, achala, containment, they get crazy. They hate this word, right? But for the US, it worked amazingly well. The USSR fell without even one bullet being shot at them. And we felt that it's actually also working for us. We avoided big wars. And as we were avoiding them and investing in our economy, then, suddenly we saw whole countries in the Middle East collapsing. We saw a reality that we are rising and they're falling. And this really gave a clear sense to our governments and also to the defense establishment that this is actually working. And if we just push it a bit more, 1 year, 2 years more, avoiding war, eventually Hamas will collapse, Hezbollah will collapse, Iran will collapse. They're all in a terrible shape. But we saw the moment of change and understood this is not going to happen. Before they will collapse, there will be a multi-front war. But in this assessment, we didn't just talk about Iran and all its proxies, all this war. This was one threat out of 3 that we outlined in the assessment. So actually, at this whole war, 2 years, 1 threat out of 4. We talked about 3 other threats, which we'll have to deal with after the war. One, we called it the fight over the land of Israel. We are still in a reality that we have to deal with issues in the Negev, in the Galil, in Judea and Samaria. There is a campaign inside the land of Israel that awaits us. We haven't solved this issue yet. We have a lot to do. And part of it is sovereignty, part of it is dealing really with the level of crime and the other issues inside Israel. The next issue we talked about was delegitimation and anti-Semitism. And I can say that as optimist as I am about what will happen at the end of the war, and I think, that the day this war will end, the bigger the win will be, the more decisive it's going to be, the greater the golden age of Israel will be the day after. The day after this war, there will be peace agreements, and the economy will boom, and there will be baby boom. We were in the shelters for a long time. And also, there will be massive aliyah. There will be 1 million Jews that will come here. I'm very optimistic about the future of Israel, but as optimistic as I am about that, I'm pessimistic about anti-Semitism. It's going to rise exponentially. And Israel will have to deal with this. We'll have to defend the diaspora. We'll have to strengthen them. And we'll also have to take aliyah much more seriously because it's going to come in big waves. And I'm not sure we're ready for that. But I mentioned 3 threats, Iran, the war inside Israel, and the issue of anti-Semitism. This is all external. The biggest threat of all, it's us, the Jews. Our connection to our values, to Judaism, to Zionism, the cohesion of the Jewish people. And this is something that requires proactivity. It requires education. We have Minister Shikli here. This is a big part of his mission. And we feel that being commanders that have built the unity, cohesion in the army and really taught our soldiers how to connect to who they are and the mission, we feel we have the techniques and the way to also assist the communities in the diaspora to get proud again, because I feel that a lot of the asbara that is done is to the mind. It's all about the heart. It's all about really getting excited about who we are, our heritage, our history, and our future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.